Hey guys, it's Josh Holiday here. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how I can help you overcome anxiety and build your confidence. So by the end of this video, it's going to be very clear for you who I help, the people who I've already helped, and I've helped hundreds of people overcome their anxiety over the last few years. I'm going to show you how we do it, how I can help, and also I'm going to lay out the different kind of options for you. So let's just start with a bit of proof. Now, if you don't already know me, then what I would recommend that you do is just go to my website and read my story. I've written it all there. Just quickly though, while we're here, I'm a meditation teacher and a mindset coach, right? I've been doing this for 5 years now, and I have been practicing meditation myself personally for nearly 15 years. I started when I was 17, and it was mainly just to help me with my own mental health issues back then. And I practiced, it was very private practice for the first 10 years or so. And then, like I said, it was about 5 years ago where I started to become public with it. I also became a meditation teacher, started running classes, started running workshops, started coaching people. And then over the last 5 years, I've built my business to where it is now, where I've helped hundreds of people overcome anxiety, get their stress and their emotions under control, and really build a lot of confidence so that they can get back their health, their happiness, and their freedom. So I'm going to just share with you a bit of proof here. This is the business payment processor. So you might be thinking, well, why am I showing you the payment processor for the business? Right? Because numbers don't lie. Firstly, over here on the right, you can see I've worked with 222 customers over the last 5 years, right? So literally hundreds of people. You can see obviously at the start of 2020, I I didn't really make much money, right? I wasn't really even doing coaching at that point. I think this was actually from some odd jobs and stuff that was doing where I was processing payments in this payment processor. It was 2021 when I first taught my first meditation class, my very first meditation class. I taught at the start of January 2021. So this is really where it started, right? Now in 2021, I made about 10 grand. I ran some classes, I did some workshops, and I realized that I'm not going to make any money just teaching classes and doing workshops. And so then I started to coach business professionals, right? I started to coach people through their stress and anxiety. And so we go to 2022 here, and you can see significant improvements in the business, right? I'm earning about 60,000 in 2022, which, it's not a lot, but it meant that I could leave my job, my other job, and I could do this full time. I think I earn actually a little bit more than that because people were also paying me in cash and doing bank deposits and stuff like that. So it's probably around 70 or 80 in 2022. Now, 2022 was also the first year I met my wife, and I met my wife. We got married, we had a baby, all in 2022. So that was a pretty busy year for us. But that also lit a fire in me to continue to grow the business. So in 2023, we had another bigger year, right? Still not crazy. Like I'm obviously not a millionaire, as you can see. However, one of my goals was to become a six-figure business owner and help hundreds of people. In 2023, I achieved that. I helped over 100 people and I earned over $100,000 in my business. The funny thing with this year, though, that I wanted to share with you guys is that I actually went through a lot of my own healing in 2023. I had to heal from a lot of my own emotional trauma, right? It was my first year as a parent, my first year in a marriage, and it was also the first year that I had to really provide for my family. And so I had a lot of things coming up for me, a lot of trauma and stuff that I had to work through. And so I did do that. I worked through a lot of my trauma in 2023. And so then that brings us to this year when I've over doubled the business again, and you can see we're on track to doing close to 250 grand this year, $250,000 this year. I reckon I'll be able to do. And you can see there's been a significant jump between last year and this year. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I really believe that when I healed my trauma, I increased my capacity, right? When I really healed a lot of my inner issues, I increased my capacity to help others. I increased my capacity to hold energy. I can increase my capacity to hold relationships, to hold my marriage together, to be a better father. So everything increased for me and improved significantly when I did healing work on myself, right? Now, I've overcome my anxiety. The healing work for me was really more around like anger and frustration as well. Like I was starting to get a bit emotionally reactive. And I'm just sharing this with you guys totally transparently so that you can get a better understanding of who I am and what I do. But anyway, that's a bit of my story. So let's just go back in here because it's not really about me, it's about you guys. So here's who I can help and how, right? Who I can help and how. The people that I mainly help is business owners and professionals who are doing well in their career, but they're struggling with anxiety, overthinking, frustration, and emotional reactivity in their personal life. If that's you, I can help. Or if you're an aspiring business owner who wants to start your own business or do something for yourself, but you don't feel confident enough and you have a fear of judgment from others, I can also help. Or if you're struggling with anxiousness and emotional reactivity in your relationships and you want to create a healthier and more secure relationship, I can also help with that, right? So I'm just going to give you a bit more proof based off the people that I have actually helped. So just bear with me a second while I whip my screen up. There's a bunch of reviews here from people, so you can also just go and read all these reviews. Or if you scroll down to the bottom, there's videos of people that I've helped, right? So you want more zest for life, but it feels as if the stress and anxiety is weighing you down. That's what problem Antoinette had when I helped her. If you feel like your anxiety, if you feel anxiety around putting yourself out there in business, that's a problem I helped Dale solve, right? Same thing with Amanda. She wanted to start a business, but fear of judgment's holding her back. Anxiety around sleep, relationships, and business. Finn had that problem. I helped him out. Overthinking, lacking confidence, and struggling with discipline. That was Brianna's problem, and I helped her out with that. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through step by step how I've helped hundreds overcome anxiety and build confidence. So let me just present my screen here so we can see it nice and big. This is going to be step by step how I've helped hundreds overcome anxiety and build confidence. So there's a few more testimonials here. If you really want to read these, you can just pause the video and you can read through them, or you can just Google Mind Launch, which is my business, and you can just read all of the Google reviews on Mind Launch. These are very active as well, right? So like there's always new reviews coming through because I'm very active in the business. So anyway, you can pause these and read them all if you want, or you can just move on. So let me just make it really, really clear who this is for and who this is not for, right? This is not for people who want the traditional approach. If you want therapists and psychologists and your GP and medication, all that kind of stuff, this is not for you, right? If you just want the quick fix and you want to just try to avoid or go around the real issue, you just want coddling and reassurance, someone to tell you that it's going to be okay, this is not for you, right? This is for people who have an open mind and want to build self-confidence. It's for people who are ready to take control by practicing discipline, routine, and accountability. And it's for people who want to implement new habits and confront the real issues. And to do this all naturally, right? You don't need anything outside yourself. I'm going to be the teacher. I'm going to be the guide that shows you the way. But everything that I'm going to teach you is stuff that you can implement for yourself naturally in your life and achieve results. So let's just talk about what is anxiety first, right? Anxiety is really a mental, physical, and emotional experience you can have that's driven by fear, and anxiety can show up in your life mentally and emotionally through overthinking, negative thoughts, constant doubt, fear, worries, all those kinds of things. It can also create physical symptoms like pain in the bodies, pain behind the eyes, shortness of breath, shaky hands, elevated heart rate, sweat, stuff like that. And it can make you feel in a state of panic as if the world is caving in on you, and that can lead to irrational behaviors and undesirable outcomes. That's the fight or flight mode of the nervous system. People with anxiety or high levels of anxiety are obviously spending too much time in the fight or flight mode of the nervous system. Now, if you're here watching this video, you're probably someone who's already done some study on this and you probably are already aware of that as an issue. So how do we actually overcome the anxiety? Well, we don't look for quick fixes. We don't try to avoid the problem. We don't always seek reassurance and external validation. We don't rely on medication, which may help with temporary relief, but is only ever going to be a band-aid solution. And we don't spend years talking about it with therapists and psychologists, right? What we do is we take responsibility for our thoughts and our emotions. We learn to control ourselves and do the work. We trust ourselves and believe in ourselves. We practice discipline and accountability, and we implement new habits, routines, and lifestyle changes. And finally, we make a real commitment to our healing, our growth, and our inner peace. It's really about getting back your health, getting back your happiness, and getting back your freedom. So what I'm going to share with you right now is a little more detailed. I'll just give you a second just to take this in. This is something which I call self codes, right? Or basic self-awareness principles. I'm going to run you through it really quickly now so you can get an understanding of how I work with my clients and the fundamentals behind the work. Firstly, when you're working with me, it's not up for debate whether or not that humans are spiritual. If you're working with me, humans are spiritual. Humans have a spirit. We have a mind, we have a body, and we have a spirit, right? That is not up for debate if you are working with me. We have mind, we have body, we have spirit. Now, my belief is that spirit is the highest level, right? And our spirit is really essentially our consciousness and our awareness. And if you want to dive into like what is our consciousness and what is our awareness, it's really our senses. We can see, we can hear, we can feel, we can touch. It's our perception, how we perceive reality. And it's also how we take in information and experience from the world. It all comes through our awareness, our senses, our sensory perception, and really just our consciousness. And that's a spiritual thing, right? Then what happens next? That's the primary thing, right? Like I said, the spirit is the primary thing. First thing that happens, you have awareness, you have consciousness. You know, you experience things through your senses. That's the first thing that happens. The second thing that happens is the mind, right? We then start to create thoughts and beliefs and stories and meaning about the things that we're experiencing. Now, these can be memories. You can be conscious or you can be unconscious. And it's really, this is where you start to confirm or disconfirm your experience, right? Through thoughts, beliefs, stories, and meanings. That's how you go, yep, this is a real thing and this is not a real thing. This is true, this is not true, right? And really, it's going to be based on your memories as well of things that you've experienced in your past. So this is the level of the mind, right? Secondary to the spirit, we have our experiences and then we start creating thoughts and beliefs and stories about them. So if you're someone who has anxiety, for example, you've created stories about certain things that are scary, right? And you've developed beliefs that you can't do certain things or that certain things are dangerous, right? And in some cases that might be true, but in some cases that might be hindering your ability to live a good life. So we want to change the thoughts and beliefs and stories, right? That's important. But also what's also important, equally as important, is also working with the body. So your thoughts and beliefs and stories and meanings will affect your chemicals, your hormones, your physiology through what's called epigenetics, right? And the nervous system. So if you have a thought, if you have a thought that says, I'm going to get killed, then, or I'm going to die, your body's going to respond to that thought. Your body's probably going to move into the fight or flight mode, right? Which is going to send you into a different state of being. It's going to affect your hormones, your stress, your adrenaline is going to go up, your cortisol is going to go up, your physiology is going to start to change, right? So that's what happens. And then from there, you also have emotions, right? So you'll start feeling certain things. You start feeling scared. You start feeling worried, right? You start feeling upset. That's also happening kind of in the body. That's a bodily experience you're having. It's a feeling. And you're either going to suppress these feelings or you're going to express them. Another option is you can also learn to accept your feelings, which is what we talk a lot about in the program. So you can see there, the highest level is the spirit, then you've got the mind, then you've got the body. And now your emotions and your feelings will actually start to affect your actions and your behaviors. So this is the thing that most people get wrong. They try to change their actions and behaviors to get new results and outcomes. They just think, well, I just need to change the actions and the behaviors that I'm doing. And if I just change the actions and behaviors, then I'll get new results and outcomes. And in some cases, that can be true. However, if you're someone who feels like you've been stuck in a recurring pattern and you're experiencing the same emotions and the same triggers and the same patterns over and over and over again, even though you've tried changing your actions and you've tried changing your behaviors, but you're still getting the same results and the same outcomes, well, then the question is like, why? And I really believe that it's because all of this stuff is keeping you stuck, right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your stories, right? Your physiology, your nervous system. So we need to work on all of those things, right? We need to get them all under control. So really we start by helping you connect with your spirit, connecting with your awareness or your consciousness, which is essentially just to be present, right? So we do this through different meditations and different mindfulness practices. That also helps with the mind, but we also work on consciously reprogramming your subconscious mind. We do that through creating new thoughts, new beliefs, new stories, new meaning. And we also regulate the nervous system, right? So we learn how to regulate the nervous system as well, which is very important. Finally, we learn how to be more intelligent with our emotions, how to actually deal with our emotions and manage our emotions, right? We want to become emotionally intelligent people. Emotionally intelligent, being an emotionally intelligent person does not mean, oh, I feel all of my emotions. It means I feel my emotions and I am not moved by my emotions. Someone who is lacking emotional intelligence is just they're like a roller coaster or a dishwasher just full of emotions, and they're constantly just being thrown around by their own emotions. That is a lack of emotional intelligence. People think they have emotional intelligence because they're tuned in to their emotions, but really their emotions are controlling their life. That's not emotional intelligence. Right? So anyway, these are the kind of things that we work on in the program. Now, let me just share with you a quick little diagram to finish off here. A lot of people I work with come to me and they say they've got low self-worth or they feel like they're stuck, right? And now this is what happens when you have low self-worth. This is what causes low self-worth, and this is what will keep you stuck in a revolution or a circle or a pattern of being stuck. It's that you are a person, you take a commitment to do something or to change your life, you start taking actions, and then you hit a barrier, right? Now, someone with low self-worth, every time they hit a barrier, they make excuses, they try to justify problems, they blame others, they complain, they're irresponsible, and they make all the reasons why they can't get over the barrier or why they can't overcome their obstacle. And what that does is it really just puts them back at square one, and then they're just back here again with low self-worth. So we do not want to do that. And if you're someone who does that, don't even bother coming into the program because it's not going to work for you, right? What we want to do is we want to develop high self-worth. We want to actually change. We want to evolve. And so if this is what you want to develop higher self-worth and you want to change, this is what you need to do. You're a person, you make a commitment to do something different, you start taking action, you're going to hit obstacles. You will always hit obstacles, right? There's no world that exists that you don't hit any obstacles. There's always going to be obstacles. But what we need to do and what we can do is develop courage. We develop the courage to go up and jump over the obstacle, right? Or to deal with the obstacle, figure out how to overcome the obstacle. And on the other side of that obstacle, there's always growth and there's always achievement, there's always change. So if you want help with overcoming your anxiety, building your self-confidence, and getting back your health, your happiness, and your freedom in the next 3 to 6 months, then book a call with me via the link below. All of the instructions that you need are there. Book a call with me. It'll go directly into my personal calendar. I will jump on that call with you. And then on that call, what we're essentially going to do is give you an initial consultation. And on that initial consultation, I'm going to be able to figure out if it's going to be a good fit for us to work together. I'll figure out what are your challenges, what are your struggles, what are you really feeling blocked by, what do you want to achieve, what are your goals, what are your aspirations? And then if it feels like we are both clear on what your problem is, and if I can help you achieve that problem and achieve your goals, then we can talk about what it's going to be like to work together. So if that sounds like it would be a good fit for you, go and book a call and I will see you on there soon.